Okay, so I'm going to do something a little different with this timing video. Last night I got a phone call from a customer of mine saying, hey, take a look at this Magnum log and tune. It's on HpTuners right now. So generally what I do is whenever somebody asks me to take a look at something like that, first thing I'll do is I'll download the log, which we just put the log right in. All right, so then we're going to come over to layout, and I'm going to do all this funky stuff here. All right, so now honestly I don't care about any of that crap, so we're just going to go right to graphs, and then I'm going to do my graph layout, and then I'm just going to remove all this crap. Now I have in here, I got it saved. I'm going to call it, come over here, and then go crawl down through here. Timing basic graphs. All right, so we open that all up. Trust me, it makes life simple when you start doing this. So looking through this guy's tune, there's no power enrichment channel logged, and he doesn't have one set up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go take a look at the tune, and since this is boosted, I know a lot of this stuff is going to need to be changed. So I'm going to go open up his tune, and then I'll fix the map and the RPM scales, and then I'll be back. All right. So looking at the tune, so we're going to come over here to the tune. We got it all loaded up, and MBT stops at 105. Part throttle stops at 105. Wide open is okay. We'll work on that in a little bit. And then the only one, where is it? There we go. All right, now this one here, spark minimum is okay. So let's look at our RPM gauge. We got RPMs all look alike, all look good, except for wide open throttle, which is fine. That's fine. As long as 5984, 5984, as long as that's good, as long as those numbers match, we're good on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix these. I'm going to make them all right. So this is how we're going to set up our map. We know, let's go back down in here. We know from running through the tune, running through the log, I should say, our highest map was around 170, and our lowest was 20. All right. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to come back over to this. We're going to set our lowest map at 20. We're going to set our highest at 170. And then we'll come through in here. And we're going to do that for now. Once you get into it deeper, you can, smooth them to a certain point. But until you start getting used to what it wants, because we can tailor this to pretty much whatever you want within reason. But for now, we'll choose 20, 170, and then we'll interpolate between those two horizontal bonds. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish everything up now. All right, now, before I go and I start correcting a lot of these things, I want to point this out first off, all right? So we know all this stuff is set wrong, okay? So right now, so let's go up here to our part throttle. At around 1500 RPMs-ish, we're at 21.5, all right? So, and this is why I want to show you guys this. So right now, we're at 372 volts on the pedal, and we're at 22.2. So let's go over to our tune, and what we're going to do is we're going to come and we're going to grab part throttle table. So we know we're right around in this area here at 50 map. So at 50 map, you have these four tables, 21.5, 23, 20.5, all right? So now let's go down to our wide open table, same area, which is actually up in here, so about 1500. So 50 to 55, we want 21, 19.5, 21, 22.5. All right, so let's go back. And what we're going to do is we're just going to notch this up one. All right, so now we're at full throttle. And you notice it jumped down to 21.19. All right, let's come back over to here. Wait. Before I confuse myself. We're at 55 map. All right. So 55 map at around 1500 RPM. Get back onto this table here. So we got our 55. So it's in between 20.5 and 22. And it came down to 21. So it's pulling numbers from here, or at 55, it's 19 to 21. So you see how it really could be pulling numbers from both of these. But once it gets over 375 volts, since this is a stock tune, well, I shouldn't say stock, since this is still has the pedal set up as stock at 374, it's on the wide open throttle table now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix all the maps and get all the RPMs all set up between everything, all right? So we'll be back again. All right. This is what we got. I got my map where I want it. I got my RPMs where I want it. So everything here matches everything that's in this tune, all right? So this is what we're going to look at. So this is the spark values over the map I want. This was the spark values over his original map, all right? So these are the average values. Got an 8.3, all this stuff down here at around 105. All right, so let's go look at our new one. Let's go find our 105. And this is where we're at, all right? This is the average traveling down through this 105. It's 12 threes. You notice on average, there's nothing higher than 14 coming down through in here, all right? And that makes sense because boosted, you really, with the G3 Hemi, you don't need a lot of timing. Unless you start getting into really, really good fuels. On nitro, these would all be up in the, what you gonna call it? Nitro, these would be all up in the 30s. So anyway, there's our max value. And there's the minimum. And down here on our minimum, I mean, we got some 8s. But we're still running 13 down through in there, even with our minimum. All right. Now, one of the charts I always create, I call it part throttle versus TPS. All right. Now, there's a reason for this. And my reasoning is, see a lot of this stuff through in here, look at our volume, or look at our voltage. All right. 156, 156 is generally where most people doing your daily drive routine, you're not going to get much higher than that. This whole block right in here is your Monday through Friday go to work block. That's the way I always looked at it. A lot of this stuff through in here where you see the low, the 20, the 10, and these RPMs, a lot of this stuff that you see in here is when you let off the gas. I've talked about it a few times. You let off the gas, the spark runs up, and it's basically cleaning out unburnt fuel. It's purely an emissions thing. You see how high it can get. All right, so how are we going to fix this? All right, so let's take a look at where our part-time throttle. This is where pulled timing. This is where the knock sensors decided to pull time. Well, actually, he doesn't have the knock sensors registered, so we don't know if this is timing being pulled due to the knock, or if this is timing being pulled due to a shift schedule not being correct and it staying too long in a certain gear. Now, always use the minus values when you're looking at this graph, because if we use the average value, okay, you know, that's average. Use the max value, it doesn't work the same with retard. So go back to our average. We're going to come over here to our part throttle. We're going to go back up to our average. All right, so what I'm going to wind up doing is I'm going to do a separate video on how I'm going to go about fixing all this. All right, so but for now we're going to copy this. We're going to come down to our tune. And then we're just going to just do a standard paste over. All right. And you can see where it's come down through, like down in here, we're into the 13s. So we have this tune as a compare. Okay. So you can see that drive trend come down through. So let's look at our 3D graph. That's a 3D graph and a compare. And you see where all that dip is? This is all constant drive. So let's go here. Everything that's down. You can see the constant drive. You can see the drive pattern. All right. So I want to come back. And then all right. So now you can see it. So we got this block of high-ass 20s we got to take care of. Got a lot of stuff we need to clean up. So I'm done with this for now. I'm going to work on this, and that'll be a separate video. All right. Thanks. Thank you for your time.